Hidden Hand, Part 3. Question. Okay, so your family and fellow elites might be as entrapped in this earthly realm as we are. But why actively propagate and aid the forces of enslavement? Because that is the part we have been contracted to play in this game. In order to win, or more accurately to be successful in the game, we must be as negatively polarized as possible. Service to self in the extreme. Violence, war, hatred, greed, control, enslavement, genocide, torture, moral degradation, prostitution, drugs, all these things and more, they serve our purpose in the game. The difference between us and you in the game is that we know that we are playing. The less you know about the game and the less you remember that you're a player, the more senseless living becomes. And all these negative things, we are providing you with tools. But you do not see it. It is not what we do, but how you react to it that is important. We give you the tools. You have the free will choice how you will use them. You have to take responsibility. There is only one of us here. Understand that and you will understand the game. Q. Something I found extremely interesting is the concept of the grand age of precession being split into 5,125-year cycles. 3,113 BC, the beginning of the current sub-age, was a time of great activity. Is the construction of the stone monuments in Western Europe, the Middle East, and Egypt at this time related to the recognition of this cycle? What was the purpose of Britain's stone circles and Egypt's pyramids? There are more than mere markers of an aeon change. They must have had some enormous significance. Actually, something I'd most like to know is, were the builders of these monuments members of the enslaved masses who were trying to understand the nature of existence, or were the builders members of your elite bloodline? Yes, there is a significance in these occurrences according to the space-time of their happenings. The group soul complex Ra was the architect of these structures. They were created from thought. When one understands and sees that all is illusion or thought, one can use the force to manipulate the illusions. All things seen and unseen are interconnected life force energy. Once you know what the magician knows, it's not magic. It's a tool of creation. Thank you for your questions. They were very insightful. Q. It is your kind that has ruined the world. Thinking of yourselves are higher than anyone. If I saw you in real life, it wouldn't be pretty. You lack understanding, not to mention eloquence. To understand higher, try thinking outside of the box for a moment. If I'm walking along the ground and you are flying above me in an airplane, does that make you better than me? No, it just makes you higher. Q. I will see you in hell. Be careful what you wish for. All thoughts and words are creative. Q. If Yahweh is a positive polarity entity, how is he wrathful and jealous? Does Yahweh have free will? Would you like to think of yourself as reasonably positive? Can you still be wrathful and jealous at times? Is Yahweh a macrocosm of you? Q. Have there been over time other entities pretending to be Yahweh? On occasion, yes. Q. I would like to know, how do we choose a service to others positive path over a service to self negative? Is this statement correct? In order to choose the positive path, at least 51% of our thoughts and actions must be dedicated to the service of others. For the negative path, at least 95% must be self-serving. Between the two lies the sinkhole of indifference. Your statement is correct, yes. So you see how hard we must strive for negativity. It takes a lot of effort to reach 95% negativity. Also, you may be surprised how many people are nowhere near reaching 51% positive. Q. How do you choose a service to others path? Be good to yourself. Cultivate a genuine love for life and for being. Be genuinely thankful to the infinite creator every day for bringing you into being and for the bountiful provisions. You have survived thus far, have you not? You may not have everything you want, but you have everything you need in order to complete that which you incarnated here to do. Give thanks for that. Show acknowledgement and gratitude to the Infinite Creator for all that it has done and is doing for you. It has given you the gift of life experience and offered you the free will to decide what you will create with it. Guard your thoughts carefully, as they are more powerful than you may imagine. When you are coming from a place of love for and service to your Creator, a life of service to others will become a natural outflowing from that. Always look for ways that you can be of assistance to your fellow beings. Being of encouragement to others. Build people up, and do not put people down. Be a beacon of light in a dark world. Does that old lady need a hand with her shopping bags? How do you treat the homeless man who asks you for some spare change for the shelter? Ever heard about angels in disguise? Look and see the divine spark in the heart of all beings. Treat them as you would like to be treated yourself, and as you would your Creator if He was speaking directly with you. For even as you are doing it to the least of these, they are doing it unto me. The law of radiation and attraction. Your thoughts, words, and actions return to you. Ultimately, cultivate a spirit of humble gratitude. You won't go far wrong with that. Desire to serve flows naturally from a grateful heart. Q. If we live with a service to others philosophy in order to achieve oneness with the infinite source, isn't that really service to self? How is the distinction of negative and positive polarity made? You do not serve others to achieve oneness with the infinite source. You serve others because you love them as yourself. Others are an extension of yourself. That's why the law of attraction works the way it does. Truly, whatever you are doing to me, you are doing to yourself. We are all one in the infinite creation. Separation is an illusion because you only see what is in third density. You do not see the whole picture. We achieve oneness with the infinite source of all as a result of our upward spiral of progression. We are all on the path back to where we came from. We are all on our way back home. Q. It is my understanding that all souls must eventually choose the positive path to unite with the infinite Creator. If this is true, what is the justification of choosing the negative path now for your people and us? An astute question. Yes, all souls eventually learn that positive is the pathway which leads home. But whilst incarnating in the third density, negativity is still an important tool in your learning process. It teaches you other than. As I said earlier, it is up to you how you use the tools we have given you. Do you respond to negativity with more negativity? Has fighting fire with fire ever worked for you? Or do you choose to see the negativity as the tool that it is and recognize that it is offering you an opportunity? I will honor your free will to think and discover for yourself what that opportunity is. Q. Or if the one infinite Creator is love, does that mean it doesn't matter if we choose love of others or love of ourselves? Will either path lead to source? In a sense, you are correct to a certain point. But there is a big difference between loving yourself and being selfish. A big difference. When you truly understand what it is to know and love yourself, you cannot help but to love and serve others. There are no others. When you understand this at the core level of your being, you will be on the path home to the infinite Creator and ultimately submergence back into the infinite oneness. Q. I agree with many others that your answers are very much in line with several sources I've read in the past, including the channelings of Ra, the Cassiopeians, and several others. Can you explain your interpretation of such channelings and if they are other sources of disclosure from your people? I have spoken on Ra in my previous answers today. I have not heard of Cassiopeians. There are no other communications from my family at this time than this one, though there is a possibility of another soon, depending upon certain events. My general view of channeling is that the majority of them are very poor quality. That is not necessarily a slight against those bringing them through, but more a matter of their lack of receptivity and subsequent distortions. It is very rare to find a good, stable, clear, and impartial channel. The key element in channeling is the ability to temporarily withdraw the filters of your own personal beliefs and be a clear channel. To bring through what is actually given, not your slant on what you think it might mean. When I am saying you, I mean this in a general term, of course, not you personally. Always remember that it's meant to be about the message, not the messenger. The raw channelings are very accurate indeed. They are the only ones I know of that I would be happy to classify as a clear channel. Though, as I say, even then, it's not 100%, more like 85 to 90%. Another difficult issue with channeling is that you can start off receiving a positive entity, and if you are not very perceptive in your discernment and careful in your protection when identifying an incoming channel, you can get a negative one that pretends to be positive, but gradually slips in more and more misinformation, having gained your trust. The ones that give you precise dates and times are nearly always ones to avoid. Positive entities will not give a date and time. Negative ones will, so they can set you up for a fall. Once you've tricked into predicting dates and times and they don't happen, they've succeeded in putting out the light of your message, and no one will see any credibility in you. Q. Well, now we know the point of this thread. Someone just discovered New Age theology and wanted to take the time to type out his discovery. Hidden Hand, still waiting for you to provide a prediction with a timeline. So far, all you've offered is general doom, which is what everyone predicts every year. Need something specific in the next week? Of course, I know you won't provide anything. This is a hoax. This will be the only time I reply to you. At the onset of our discourse here, I made it expressively clear that the way I am choosing to operate. If you do not like my choices, you have the free will to not read this disclosure. I would kindly suggest that you use it as your energy is feeling very frustrated and angry. That's not really an advisable direction you want to be heading under the circumstances. As I took the time to explain to you before, I have nothing to prove to you. That's not why I came. Believe or do not believe. I am divinely indifferent. And as my presence here ends up benefiting just one soul during the process, it will have been worth the effort. I have not asked you to believe. The only thing I have respectfully asked was that you suspend judgment or hold a provisional faith until the discourse is complete, so that the flow of questions and information remains uninterrupted. You have shown me nothing but discourtesy and bad manners from the onset, and then wonder why I do not respond. If you do not like the topic, simply choose not to read or reply, and let those that do wish to participate with insightful questions do so uninterrupted. Your points. 1. New Age theology? That is amusing. You clearly not the faintest comprehension of just how ancient and timeless these mysteries are. I find it ironic that if you ever make it to the 32nd degree, you're going to find yourself hearing these truths all over again. I hope that you will find it easier to integrate these truths then, as I ask our infinite Creator to guide your path. 2. You will not be receiving any times or dates from me. I am not here to prove anything, and I have no need to do so. Your disbelief is of no consequence to me, only to you. I am here to diligently discharge the duty given to me of delivering a message, and I will complete that duty regardless of your feelings about it. 3. As to your point regarding doom and gloom, that just serves to reveal your mindset. When you see doom and gloom, I see opportunity. Life conforms to your ideas about the way it is for you. If you see doom and gloom, then that is what you are projecting. The world is your mirror. It reflects back to you what you are putting out. If you do not like the reflection life is showing you, then change that which is causing it. Q. You see, if this really existed, there would be countless thousands of people involved, and any one person could leak. Thousands. Try millions. And you have no possible comprehension of the rigorous training and the harshness of the conditioning we undergo from an early age. No one dares to go against the family. We know what would happen if we did. But that is not the prime motivator. The motivator is unbridled loyalty to the family and our Creator. We understand the importance of what we are doing here, even though most of humanity does not. Q. Oopsie, hidden hand, you just shot yourself in the foot. For someone who only deals with manipulating the spiritual side of life, you sure do know a lot about things that have nothing to do with it. You've just exposed yourself. Do you not sit down with your family and keep one another abreast of your plans? As to your remarks about my spiritual role, the ignorance you demonstrated is most humorous to us. If you think I only deal in the spiritual, you have either not read or misread my posts. You also make the assumption that my role is about manipulating the spiritual side of life. Again, you lack understanding, and then make false judgments about that which you have no comprehension of. You would do well to stop trying to be clever, and instead channel all that misplaced aggressive energy of yours into something more productive and nourishing for your soul. But don't let me stop you. You're contributing nicely to the overall negative polarity of the coming harvest. We are grateful for you. I will be spending the last few days of my time here, our discourse ends on Friday, focusing on responding to insightful questions with depth, which makes the most of this opportunity for sharing information and making connections on a soul level of being. So please do not expect any further responses to your verbal jousting. I neither have sufficient time or inclination for engaging in insignificant banter. Thank you to those who have contributed to this discourse so far with meaningful questions. For those with an open mind, it is my hope that you got something out of this information. Q. I'm wondering if you can help me. I am here for the coming trials and tribulations. I am a part of quasi-coital, or the rebirth of it, as far as I know. I know many of your words to be true because I have already rediscovered these truths through the findings that which resonated most with me through the various belief structures. Good evening. It is good to see you again. It's been a while, old friend. Would it surprise you to know that we were expecting you? Quasi-coital is also a 6th-density soul group, social memory complex. Some refer to quasi-coital as an ascended master, although he would be most amused by that title, knowing as he does that mastery is still some way off at this point for him, as well as it is for ourselves, as Group Soul Lucifer. One can be accurately described as having mastered a particular density through mastery of the entire creational incarnation cycle does not occur until one has once again attained submergence back into the one infinite creator. One may choose to do so once obtaining 8th density ascension, or one may choose instead to progress up to the next octave of densities and begin a new cycle of creational incarnation challenges. Q. This is my first time on Earth in a long time, possibly ever. I have known for quite some time and have been told by another from one of your bloodlines in your group that I do not truly exist here. You are correct in that you have not been here for a substantial period of Earth time, though not that you have never been here before. The group soul quasi-coital enjoyed many 3rd density incarnational cycles here back in the classic Aztec period. He struggled at first with perfecting love for others, which held back his progression for some time. However, once he had come to the realization of our inherent unity, he was able to see himself in others, and your progression was rapid from there on in. Your quasi-coital soul group attained positive harvest with a very impressive 76% at the time of the subsequent harvest. Naturally, when a group soul is undergoing an incarnational cycle in 3rd density, its individualized soul portions, i.e. you, are the ones who are doing the actual physical incarnations with the oversoul, the higher self, of your individuated souls acting as the energy anchor in which the individual soul sparks are stepped down from. You spent a long while working your way through the fifth density, the density of wisdom or light. This was due in the main part to an overabundance of compassion, which is not a bad thing, as compassion is one of the main things you work on at fourth density. However, to graduate from fifth to sixth density, the density of unity, you must learn the balance between compassion and wisdom. The sixth density is hence sometimes known as the density of compassionate wisdom, due to the one having learnt the balance between the two. This required many incarnational cycles for you, which is why you correctly feel that you have not visited third density Earth for a long time. Q. I was not expected to show up. I originally had other previous engagements, but I managed to get here at the last minute. One of the things I have remembered is that I am, too, under contract. I am a walk-in, if that makes sense to you. So my human family is not like me. I have spent a long time traveling to various densities and helping in the various revolutions there. Your insights serve you well. This not only applies to you, but your entire soul group. Quasi-coital, the macrocosm of yourself, has been busy for the last 2 cycles working with a fifth density group on Alpha Centauri, who were experiencing similar problems with an overabundance of compassion, at the cost of personal wisdom. You recently completed your assignment there and were eager not to miss out on the glorious opportunity to be a part of this great harvest. While your group, as I said, did eventually learn to balance love and light to graduate into the sixth density unity vibration, you still are very much prone to extreme compassion. And rather than take the usual period of time-space, antimatter universe where we rest between incarnations, you are keen to jump aboard this third density space-time whirlwind at this point, to be of assistance to your fellow beings here. Q. My problem is that my memory has malfunctioned, and some of the things that I have remembered from my previous existences do not correspond with your words. I have met Lucifer and his generals on more than one occasion. I would appreciate any information you may know that could clear up my confusion as to why my thoughts are so jumbled. Because I know what my path is clearly and I am awaiting the starting point, but I'm not completely clear on what truly is happening here. Thank you for your time. You have indeed met with us, Lucifer, before, on many occasions. We have worked together on various councils and confederational assignments. Use the gift of your dream time communications, which are important communications for your oversoul, and many other sources whereby information is downloaded, to plug in to your inner databank. Begin recording everything you recall upon awakening, and do not give up on the process, even though it is hard at first. You will begin to slowly make sense of the information which is being downloaded into your subconscious mind. When you become proficient at this, and can use your dream time as a method of inner communication, ask our infinite creator to remind you of your time in the Zeta Reticuli system. You will remember then our last period of service together. I would hope with much fondness. Sadly, my time here is only permitted until Friday. Therefore, we will not likely communicate again after this message. So I wish you the very best for your assignment, here, my friend. But your individual one, as that of your group soul, I ask that our infinite creator bless and guide your path. We look forward to seeing you on the other side when this grand ride is over. Our love, wisdom, and peace be with you. Q. You mentioned Alcyon. It's interesting. There's a celestial map of it at Hoover Dam. There's also a compass framed by the signs of the zodiac. Indeed. Just like in Hollywood productions, we hide the truth right out in the wide open. What humanity is offered as science fiction, more often than not, is actually science fact. Q. What do the winged statues commissioned by the U.S. government guarding the entrance at the dam really represent? Is any of this collection of celestial symbolism found there connected to your Luciferian alien equinox transformation agenda? This is actually very simple. You'll note that the feet point directly downward to the earth, and the hands and wingtips point directly up to the sky. The life force energy flows into the human mind-body-soul complex from the earth up through the feet. The intelligent energy from the infinite creator flows down from above and in through the crown chakra. The wings represent our Lucifer's inherent divinity. You'll also note that the figure is seated. The seat of our Lucifer's power connects heaven and earth, and all things must pass through us. Q. Other questions I have, and sorry if you've explained this, are these bloodlines the wealthy, as most assume, or seemingly ordinary people, including celebrities and politicians, etc., blending in with society, going relatively unnoticed, but yet contributing to your cause in the grander scheme of things? The names you know have no real power. Sure, they appear to have lots of power in the way earthbound souls perceive power. Our wealth makes the millionaire and billionaire celebs and corporate bigwigs look like a child's pocket money. Our wealth is family wealth, which has passed down through the generations over thousands of years. True wealth, however, is knowing deep in your heart that you and your infinite creator are one. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, infinite creator, and all these things shall be added unto you. Q. So part of this question could also be, are all of them aware they are all part of this bloodline? Or are some members oblivious to this connection they have? Are they informed of this at a particular age? For example, how and at what age were you told you belonged? Yes, if you are bloodline family, you are born into it, and you are raised this way from birth. There is no other way. I want to be clear on this bloodline issue. The ones you know, they are of earthly lineage. Yes, they have their place in the family, but the real power lines do not originate from this world. Q. I have probably found this the single most insightful thing so far. It helps me to understand the answers to some of the questions I've asked. I am glad. It is probably the single most important thing that I have shared. Q. Unfortunately, its connotations also alleviate the NWO of most accusations. That depends on your perspective. Does it alleviate the negativity we have perpetrated? No. Does it alleviate the pain and suffering we have caused and are causing upon the world? No. Does it alleviate that we are closing our endgame scenario and soon to openly come out and offer publicly to save the failing political and financial institutions with our esteemed leadership? No. Does that mean that you should give into and feed the negativity? No. Does it alleviate that we will have to spend a cycle in karmic restitution to balance this lifetime of overt negativity? No. Does that mean that you should use the negativity as the tool that it is to show you that which you are not? Yes. Remember, always, that this is a beautiful game that we are playing here and co-creating together with our infinite creator. And that off stage, between lives, we are the very best of friends. And that no one really dies and no one really suffers except in the game. The game is not reality. Reality is reality. And you have the power to express your reality within the game, once you have learned how to do so.